We've already installed some HID, or not HID, LED high-powered lights to replace our headlights. And now we're going to do our high beams, or fog lights, and high beams. So we'll see how this turns out. We actually called Toyota, which is where we got our last high beam, or our last brighter LEDs from, which were really awesome. So much so that we had to turn them down so they, and by turn them down I mean clock them down so they angled lower on the highway, so we didn't get as many people flashing as I think we had brights on, which worked. But when you put higher powered regular lights in, you start to notice how weak your high beams and fog lights are. So this is hopefully going to be the trick. So we called Toyota. They sourced these, but they said, if you want, you can also go to a place called Action Car and Trucks, which is a subsidiary of some place called... So it's CTP Distributors. That's who makes these Enthuze, or who provides the Enthuze via Action Trucks and off-road accessories. These are the bulbs that have a ballast connected to them. You know, some people call these the anti-flicker for LEDs to regulate the voltage or wattage or amperage or whatever it is doing. But it should be theoretically plug and play. You unplug your old bulb, take that plug it into here. This goes into the socket. It should have the exact same openings and such that are required, and then you're off to the races. Zip ties, in case you need to zip tie this up to something. That is sometimes the case. So in this case, this one didn't come with zip ties, but I have mini zip ties, and this one has 4, so I might end up using this for this and this. More to come. Okay, so this is inside the car. The truck is on, so it should be getting, you know, max power to the lights, which I don't think makes much of a difference. But I'm about to turn the light on. So that's regular beams with a high-powered LED light. I think they're called something like top speed lights. We got them from Toyota. They were quite good. And then this is high beam, low beam, high beam. Not even much of a difference there either. So we'll have to compare to this later on and see what it looks like once we get them installed. So stay tuned.
High beams. Fog lights. There's the high beams.
So right now I'm going to try and loosen the washer bottle reservoir, and hopefully that will give us some space and we'll be able to get the high beam bulb out. Alright team, if you want a good tool, it's this one here. This is a panel popper, but it's great for pushing down on the top of the, see if I can zoom in here, the top of the clip, so you can kind of get it right on the top. It's very hard to film this, but you can kind of push on this and pop the there. You can push the top of the light bulb connector. So the bulb is connected to an electrical connector that's connected to your truck. You can push down on the surrounding ridges. You could use a flat screwdriver, but ideally something wide and kind of soft so you don't cut into it. But that's a tip so far that's proved to work quite well. And there's a little snap up connector that will be obvious that you have to open up. So here's the bulb. Just came out. As you can tell, this is the original incandescent style bulb. Obviously not super bright. Another thing that was interesting to do, I removed the connector from the washer bottle, and I also removed the connector from up here, which is the turn signal, and it just gave me a little bit more room to get my hand down into here and undo the bulb. So we're going to change the bulb out and connect it, and then zip tie the ballast somewhere, just like this one, which is the ballast for the regular beams. So one other thing to note, there is a positive and negative on the bulb that's connected to the ballast, as well as, put that down there, on the connection that you're going to plug into, which is this one here, not that one there. The one we're plugging into is this one here. And on this one, you can see there's also a positive and a negative. So just make sure you're plugging into the right one. Positive, positive, negative, negative. So, I'm on to the second one. Going pretty smooth, to be honest. It's not taking very long at all. That's the other hole. Already took it out. I just moved the battery compartment over. I had to take the ground wire off the side for a second, and yeah, just move it over. So I'm gonna reinstall, plug it in, and then hopefully Bob's your uncle. We got this. Put the battery back, and then we're gonna go to the fog lights. So, light is in. One thing you notice, there's actually more room with this light. So it's easier to put in than it was to take the other one out. Just make sure you tighten it ready tighty nicely, and basically just got to zip tie that ballast up. But to be honest, I mean, it's not going to rattle around too much likely, but it's always a good idea to zip tie it to something, maybe zip tie it to there with the other one just so it's out of the way. That's it. Okay, so we're back in the car / truck, and we're going to check out the lights. So this is regular lights and high beam. Is it brighter? Hard to tell. I have to compare the footage / the highway is going to be the best thing to show, but we'll find out soon.